The Heisman Trophy is the most coveted individual award in college football and possibly the most coveted individual award in all of sports. And that's why it's a damn shame that it's basically become the Davey O'Brien Award. Just give it to the best quarterback each season. In the past 14 years, only twice has a non-quarterback won the award. And the way it seems to be going, it's hard to see another position ever winning it again. It's been 27 years since a defensive player won the award, being Charles Woodson from Michigan, which leads me to this. Defensive players need their own Heisman Trophy. If Ndamukong Suh and the Honey Badger didn't win it, nobody that is a true defensive player will ever win the Heisman again, even if they do help on special teams. Defense still wins championships. And in reality, the team that's the best all around in the three phases, offense, defense, and special teams, they have the best chance. But the saying's still true. Now, before you say Jake, there already is a most outstanding defensive player award, being the Bednarik Award. We all know that doesn't hit the same as the Heisman. Hell, we have other awards for the most outstanding players on offense, like the Maxwell Award. But that is not the Heisman Trophy, which has its own ceremonial day. Why can't we just give away an offensive Heisman and a defensive Heisman? This is not a participation trophy situation because if we're being honest, defensive players have been cut out of the Heisman consideration. They're not even participating in it. It's pulling teeth to even try and get a defensive player an invite. So let's show some love to the guys on defense. The guys who don't have the sexiest jobs, they really have the dirtiest jobs. Hell, let Mike Rowe give it away because it's still important. And there are those who are deserving. Former quarterback, loser. David Cohn from Michigan. Michigan to my left. My brother, wide receiver, which Devontae Smith's the last wide receiver to win the Heisman in 2020. Blaine Crain. David, do you agree that we should give an offensive Heisman and a defensive Heisman? Why not? Will a defensive player ever win it again outside of saving the world from nuclear destruction?
Charles Woodson won it.
Dude, that's Charles Woodson won it. Bro, we didn't even have colored TV back then.
Man, I was ready to fight against this and say no. But the offensive and defensive, you make a compelling case, and I do think it's pretty wild. I've got the breakdown right here in front of me. I think it is wild that a defensive lineman, a position that you can really excel out and get to the quarterback, has never won the Heisman Trophy.
It's insane.
Right here. This cut off in 2018, but since 2018, every quarterback's won it every year except for Devontae Smith's year, right?
Derrick Henry won it since 2015, you said?
Since 18.
Since 18, yes.
So, this is from 1935 to 2018. Yeah. Tailbacks of any fashion, halfback, fullback, whatever, 43 winners. Quarterbacks, 34, but then like we said, you'd add, 5 to that number, right? Yeah. So you get to 39. Wide receivers, 5, plus Devontae Smith would be 6, and then cornerback Charles Woodson, the lone defensive player, at 1, and even he was having to return punts. And also another thing that why I would possibly consider this idea of yours for the offensive and defensive Heisman Award is because a lot of these winners, they were playing both ways back in the day. No one's playing both ways anymore. And
yeah, very rarely. They can lie to me and say Caleb Downs may take a few snaps at running back. We all know that's not true. Travis Hunter is a rare breed. We'll see how much, Shohei Ohtani-ish action we get in college football. But Blaine, it is not and again, I'm not trying to say the Bednarik Award doesn't matter, which I believe Bednarik played both ways. But we have other awards like that we give out on offense that are for the most outstanding player that aren't the Heisman. So why can't we just keep the Bednarik Award, get an offensive Heisman and a defensive Heisman? I mean, you look at what Will Anderson did a couple years ago that was unbelievably impressive. A defensive player is never going to win the Heisman again, and I'd be willing to bet it's going to be a long time before a non-quarterback wins it again.
Well, I think one, I like the way you're looking at this, but one, I'd be worried about watering down the Heisman.
It's already watered down, though. It's already watered down, though, is my point.
Not to that certain extent. If you make 2 of them, that'll take it to a whole nother level of being watered down. I will say this. I don't think we make another one. I think we change the process of how we get to the Heisman, how we get the guy there. I don't think 900 people should vote on the Heisman, right? I think you should take regionality out of it, right? I think there are 100 people you could find that you can seriously know what makes football tick. What makes guys go and why you're winning. You talk about defense, only 1 defensive player, only 2 linemen, offensive players have ever won the Heisman. So I think we need to change the process. I think you can add a guy to it, in my opinion. I think we only have 5. I think you can make it 6. I think there's certain things we need to do in the process of getting there to take out certain media. There shouldn't be 900 people voting on the Heisman.
Yeah, well, what if we just had every Heisman winner just?
That's exactly what I was going to say. What if only former, because we have enough now. What if only former winners can vote on it? Because those guys are the ones who want the award watered down the least, right? Now, you could say, like, well, most of them are offensive guys. They'll vote for offensive guys. I don't think so. No, I think if they see an edge guy or if they see Tyrann Mathieu out there, like, they would legitimately vote for that guy.
They know what they're looking at.
Instead of Greg Doyle.
Yeah, like people most people.
Greg Doyle's too busy freaking out Caleb.
Yeah, they only see flash, right? They only see the big plays. But like, if you get the right people and the Heisman winners, you can add a couple personalities if they know what they're looking at. But if you get the right people in there, I think we can come together for the best player in college football by not adding another Heisman.
Would that do for you?
Any step to make it somewhat closer and more realistic for everybody to have a chance. Yes, but I would rather just do it my way. I would just rather do it the way that I said it, where you have an offensive Heisman and a defensive Heisman. And y'all know, we don't do participation trophies here. But my whole point is that this isn't everybody getting one. Defensive players aren't even participating in winning the Heisman now. Do you remember how much talk there was just for a defensive player to get an invite?
Aiden Hutchinson.
Just invite them. Just invite. If there's any sort of participation trophy, that's it, because you're not even winning the actual trophy. I just think at the end of the day, we can keep the Bednarik, we can keep the Lombardi, all this stuff, but it doesn't hit like the Heisman, just like the Maxwell doesn't hit like the Heisman, just like the Davey O'Brien Award doesn't hit like the Heisman, which it's really become the Heisman because of quarterbacks. I feel like we ought to say, all right, we're at where we're at. Hell, you already changed everything else anyway. We got 12 teams in the playoff. We got teams from Berkeley and Palo Alto in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Some of the award, it doesn't make sense to me. What was the example? Caleb Williams won the Heisman. What's the quarterback award? Is it the Davey O'Brien? And Max Duggan won the quarterback award. How does that make sense? How are you the best player in college football? It's always been weird, yeah. How are you the best player in college football but not the best quarterback in college football?
Yeah, and then you got the Maxwell Award that's supposed to go to the most outstanding, I believe, offensive player. I think they may have defense included, but no defensive guy has won it, I think, since Manti Te'o, and I believe it may be an award that goes both ways. But at the end of the day, if we're just going to be honest, like, just say that either do that, David, I would rather them give an offensive Heisman and a defensive Heisman, or just say, you know what, with the Heisman, it's an offensive award. Let's call it what we call it. Just call it on, because that's what it really is. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and take some time to do that. Turn that notification bell on. We all know we're sprinting towards football season, and you do not want to miss the content.